So I should probably just make a video just talking about this strange caller I got yesterday. I've got nothing else to do, so why not? I'm not doing it because it's interesting. I'm just doing it because I have nothing else to say, and I like analysing people, especially mentally ill people, because I do not understand why mentally ill people can be so mentally ill. Like, I understand that they were animals in a past life, and I understand that they're just not very evolved. There's different reasons why a person can be psychopathic, where you have no ability to feel or care about others. When you are an animal, when you are a lion, when you are chasing your prey, you are designed not to care about your prey. Why? Because you won't be able to eat if you did that. So a lot of unevolved souls have this tendency to put themselves first, because this is how they survive. This is how an animal survives. If a lion said, I'm just going to eat grass today, it would get hungry, and it wouldn't really. And if it did that to its kids and stuff, it's going to, the kids are going to die because you need food, and therefore a lot of animals have been brought up to be psychopathic, basically. I think there are some species that are more dangerous than others, and some might want to protect that species. But yeah, if they're a dangerous species, it might not necessarily be best for the soul, because these souls, humans just don't understand this, because they don't believe in reincarnation, and therefore they see species as being just the genetic. They see it on just the genetic level, and they don't see it on the spiritual side. If you are born into a bulldog rather than one of the cuter dogs, you will be. It will bring out some sort of more bulldogish qualities in you, and it would make your soul probably a lot harder. Is that a good thing? Maybe. If it's too aggressive, then it's probably best to put the dog down, definitely, so that the soul doesn't continue living with these sort of desires. But at the same time, when overpopulation is a problem, I guess that you need to have that in you. You need to have that side of in you. And when you go through reincarnation, you go through a big long list of animals, and definitely some are a lot better than others, but they bring out different sides or qualities in your soul. But yeah, how anyone can watch my videos for 5, 6, 7 years and still only see them from one perspective, which is that this girl believes in something that's not true, and to think then that they're going to call me up and pretend. He first started off like this: "We are listening." Who the fuck are you? Who the fuck are you? And why would you talk to me in such a creepy, weird way? You obviously you're a psychopath. And then he says, "No, we are listening. I wasn't sure if to call you or not, because you might get angry." So as soon as he said that, I was like, all right, this is obviously someone who's called me before and I've got angry. Hence, because people that like this are only able to relate to their own personal experiences. They can't relate to anyone else's experiences. They can't understand why someone else would think a certain thing or think differently to how they think. They only think it from their perspective, which is that I'm crazy, and they want to help me by feeding into my delusion, whilst basically just entertaining themselves, because entertaining themselves is the only thing that he wants to do. I keep saying, why are you not coming to me? Why are you not talking to me? And yeah, he doesn't think that I'm actually talking to. I don't think he's got the intelligence to realize who I'm actually talking to when I say this. I've got thousands of people writing songs and films and music. I've got 500 angels on my angel list, but if he's not reading my Facebook page, then he probably has no clue who they are. There's an Illuminati group, thousands of people. It's not just 50. But yeah, he was just trying to say, oh, there's only 50 of us. I don't know, talking constantly like it was from some sort of galactic federation. There's some mad people online that believe that they contact aliens. And then he did talk about aliens. I think of something like, what is your thoughts on aliens? That they're not real? That I'm the only alien here? I mean, why are you even asking me this question? I'm pretty sure it's the same guy who called me 2 years ago and 3 years ago, and we had a big argument over it. And I don't understand how he can't remember anything. How he can't remember anything that I've told him about me being God. if I'm God, why would I think that there are other aliens? It's because he thinks that I'm delusional. That's what it is. He thinks that I am delusional. And because I'm delusional about me being God, then I'm probably delusional about me believing in aliens and me believing in just a long list of other things. And I don't understand how someone can watch my videos for 5-6 years and still only think that I am delusional, hence crazy and just wanting to believe any kind of shit. I just don't understand him at all. But I want to, because there are probably loads of people that are fucked up in the head like he is. And then I don't know, he was saying he wants to meet up, and I was like, yeah, well, I'm not going to meet up with you because I think you're crazy, as you're a psychopath. I wouldn't be safe. I definitely am not coming to you. He said he was in Coventry, and then he said he'll come to me. I was like, don't you dare, I'll call the police if you come up, because you're obviously a psycho. I don't want to have anything to do with you. And then I was just I don't know, just constantly, there's loads of us, we know, we're watching, we want to help, we just want to understand your point of view. Well, yeah, watch the videos then. Clearly you haven't been watching. If you're a smart person, you'd be watching my videos and you would know about who you're talking to. The people, I don't know how you're going to come and talk to me. But I'm assuming, I know that there is thousands of people who are working on it. If there might only be a group of people at the top that are sort of, running this, well, you're the ones who are running this, obviously the ones who are owning the Warner Brothers and all the people above the singers. I don't know if the singers themselves know or not. I don't know which singers know. I'm sure some do, and I don't know which ones are which. And it's really, really, really horrible living in this not knowingness, and then to have people think that it's funny to take the piss. You don't know things, so we're going to call you up, and it's not a we, it's a him. I'm going to call you up and pretend that I do know things when really I don't even know if you. I'm going to ask you some, and then I got him to ask me a question, and he started saying about what's your thoughts on reincarnation? It's like, what the fuck? Have you not listened to my main video where I say that I was a Lear in my past life? What's that? Isn't that not Isn't that not reincarnation? Although technically I was Eve in my past life, and I was a Leah in middle in my section. I have to say that because that's how I've got my theory now on how dyslexia is formed. A lot of people in the past were not educated. Education was either for the rich, or if it was very long time ago, it was only for the select that. I think it wasn't even in the Egyptian times. I don't think it was even for the rich. There was a select group of people that were good at writing pictures on the wall, and I don't think the rich wanted to bother doing that because they might have not even seen the purpose of it. They just probably would have hired people to do the writers. And I think if someone has dyslexia, it's probably likely that they weren't literate in their past life. And there were many, I don't know if there were many kings, I don't know, there were many people who were rich and didn't learn how to read or write in their past life. And if you've spent your whole life not knowing how to read and write, you'd probably find yourself being dyslexic in this life. Some might be more dyslexic than others. I know that when I was about 7, I had the reading age of a 3-year-old, and my sister, who was actually, she would have been 3. My sister was probably about 4. I know when I was 7, my sister's reading was much better than mine, and that's when my mum realised that I had dyslexia. So I was very severe. Some people have a speech problem. I didn't have a speech problem. I actually picked up on words quite well, but not reading, and then I just struggled. But I think it's because I was a feral child in my past life, and if you were a feral child and you've gone your whole life not even talking, you would definitely find yourself being dyslexic in this life. And likewise, if you're an animal in your past life, I think there's quite a high chance that you'll. So I think having dyslexia, it doesn't mean anything, because you could have been like a really wealthy person in your past life that just never learned to read and write because you didn't see the point of it. Like, probably not. If you're dyslexic, it probably means that you haven't had a life in the last 200 years, because I think in the last 200 years, reading and writing has been a very massive thing. But yeah, back in the Middle Ages, or I don't know. You do the history. I don't know the facts on the history, but there was a point where most people did not know how to read and write, and I think my sister, even though she was from the 1400s, in her past life. I do believe that she learned basics on reading and writing, and it's because of that she was better than me, because she was at the age of 3, she was picking up on things that she learned in her past life, whereas I never learned that in my past life, hence why I was always struggling. And I think because I never really got that good in my childhood, I never managed to catch up really. I was always a few years behind. I just kind of, that's just how I ended up staying, even though when I died at 14, I think my soul went back time, lived a Leah's life, but because I would have been starting off from my 14-year-old self, I would have had that head start, which would have helped my development in the early stages, which is why she didn't have it. That's my theory. Although if that's a correct theory, then it means that in 200-300 years, dyslexia will be gone. Like anyone that comes to Earth, or everyone that has a life on Earth would find themselves being reincarnated from a time where they had conquered or learned how to read and write. Hence, if my theory is correct, this theory particularly is correct, then dyslexia should be gone and it should be wiped out in a few hundred years. And I know there are some very stupid people now, but most people don't know how to read and write. But then again, actually, if you come to think about it, there might be loads of kids in Africa who don't know how to read and write. And yeah, if they died and were reincarnated, in 1,000 years' time, would they know how to read and write? No, not if they didn't learn how to read and write in this current life, and they die and their soul just gets put on pause for 1,000 years and they come back in 1,000 years' time, and then they live a life, they might still have dyslexia. But I feel like if you've got a learning disorder like this, it kind of tells you about your past and what you were like in your past, and so that's my theory. But there's also another theory, which is that it could be a spiritual thing. My higher self is doing like the thumb. Like a thumb, she's sort of, imagine the fingers of the timeline, and the thumb is kind of like that. So God is kind of like going up and down, doing things like that, and then she's going to press play after she's done all of that. And because of that, I was thinking maybe my dyslexia might be because of that, like the spiritual confusion between what my higher self is doing, and also people always think that the Bible is the word of God, and it's not. So it's like the word of God that's like the badly unspelt. If I wrote a script that's not spell checked, and then I rewrote it but with a spell check, they'd be very, very different. And that's kind of what the Bible is versus what I'm like the new version with like, oh, that's not supposed to be that, or I've missed out that word, or I've written that word twice. Why do I don't know why I do that. Sometimes I write instead of to the, or like the. Why would I write the same word twice? It's like, I don't know what dyslexia is. It could be because I was a feral child in a past life and my early development didn't really catch up, or it could be some sort of spiritual confusion. And in humans have this same problem. Why? Because I have it and it somehow got into the genes. I'm not too sure, but I think if dyslexia still exists in 1,000 years' time, it's likely that that's the more case, unless of course if all the souls that can't read right now are just going to be paused and come back in 1,000 years' time. But then if that's the case, then it's like, well, what happens to the souls now? Are they going to live their life like for the rest of the next 20-30 years, and then are they going to be put on pause for another 1,000 years? I don't know. I don't know what the timeline is. I think it really depends on how long the timeline is. Have we got another 1,000 years? Have we got another 20,000 years? I don't know. Like I keep saying I want to kill everyone and blow the place up, and I kind of do. But I know that if I did that, there would always be a bunch of people that survive, and then it could start again. And yeah, we don't want to blow up nice houses. Ugly ones, yes. Bad ones, no. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I'm very, very, very angry now. So if I'm just like really, and it's that. Just to think that there are people who are watching my videos and they still have no ability to believe that what I'm saying is the truth, and that they think it's fine to call me up pretending to be this group of people that I'm waiting for, and then to clearly have absolutely no information about me. It's like, can you not understand? The people that I'm waiting for are people who believe that I'm God, who know what I'm going through, who have been watching me for 12 years, hence they should know everything about me. That's kind of what the whole Bible is about. That when Christ comes, get to know Christ's word I am Christ. My word is the words that I am saying. And to think that, I don't know, how can someone be so mentally ill as to just ignore everything?